What's up friends, Nakamura here. In this game we'll be reviewing stuff. This is a replay from a game I've played, and we'll be treating this sort of as how to play like me. I've got this slightly unique style of going the Royal Mage as the humans. Of course my build order will be as usual, putting down the hunting cabin so that we get those 4 hunters immediately, then 2 woodcutters, letting them fill up, and then we'll assign the stonecutter workers. I've specifically unassigned these. Now, Royal Mage. This is a game against the Dark Elf, so why are we going with the Royal Mage? Well, the reason for that is this guy is actually incredible at helping you clear the higher level creeps as soon as you have a bunch of units to back him up. So first off, we're going to be getting Spark, single target damage, Fire Nova, AoE damage, and Incinerate. Which is like a detonate skill on top of any unit that is currently on fire. So this Arcane Scorching is allowing you to do that. And then the Incinerate will be your second AoE skill. Now what I've done is I've run across the map immediately to lure away the creeps with the scout. That allows me to slow down my opponent from grabbing the sector, although right now this guy's a little bit hurt, so we'll be waiting that out. On this map, I really like to get the forward sector. This one is already upgrading though, as we'll be wanting the stonecutter as soon as possible. Humans need a lot of stone, so we'll be doing that right away. Now that the hero is level 2, we've also assigned 1 point in Deep Waters and 1 point in Fire Might. The Fire Might will be doing a weakening on enemies every time you cast a fire spell. So when you cast a fire spell, you can build up up to 3 levels of the perk here. You can see those symbols over his head. It's got 2 levels of weakening right now, so that's -6 resistance for everyone surrounding the hero. Very useful in these early stages of the game. And we've got a spider harassing us at home, so we'll just be making the infantryman from the main base in order to deal with this threat. Well, this has been taken care of. We've already stolen 2 creeps of our opponent, and we'll be going for the next one. Now, you can safely assume that if you are able to do this, your opponent will probably have been on your side to do the same thing. But yeah, we'll basically be taking as much of this as possible, slowing down that hero by triggering the upgrade on the flag. And meanwhile, we get in some free attacks on the hero. It's gone north, so you'll be having to chuck potions to take down our royal flag. And meanwhile, we're just throwing our Spark, Fire Nova, and Incinerate at him. You can see I'm allowing the damage over time to do its magic for a little bit. And we've had enough. Teleporting home now. Can see that he's already taken this over, but he actually didn't finish the flag, so he can't build it. Big mistake, but he must have been in a rush to teleport back. Well, we can capitalize on this by taking it out. We've been building, trading additional infantrymen, and meanwhile upgrading this sector. So the next building will be a hunting cabin, as that costs wood, and we'll be soon looking to get over here perhaps another woodcutter, because that costs stone. So that's how we'll be spending that resource. I'm checking ahead with the infantryman to see what is over here. Looks to be a hunting cabin, which is pretty standard. And with the scout, I'm also going to be looking to bully these hunters or woodcutting workers. Maybe we'll take 1 or 2 down. Now we've still got the creeps in our back. This will allow us to reach level 3 with our hero and unlock 2 more skill points. And meanwhile, we've just been making infantrymen, but now we've stopped as we've got 3 infantrymen total. So that's going to be enough for the moment while we upgrade these sectors. Decided to actually go for another hunting cabin, but I think that's because we've instead upgraded this outpost to a frontier outpost, and we've put the woodcutter here that I've mentioned earlier. So we're immediately teleporting here, and we're going to be looking to take out the Medusa, trying to be as efficient with the creeping path as possible, wasting as little time as possible, trying to get experience as early as possible. So now these Medusa will be suffering from the weakening, -9 resistance. The frontier outpost will be helping us by shooting at these Medusa. We can actually hide the timer Now, the mage will be doing most of the tanking, but remember, the infantry costs resources. The hero doesn't. The potion doesn't cost any resource. You just have it. You just gather it from the neutral enemies on the map, and it's not an RTS resource. So we can happily spend that. It will be painful if we lose too much, but it's a lot better than losing, let's say, 2 of the infantrymen. So we'll be using indeed the hero to do most of the heavy lifting. And Medusa will be down. That puts us at level 4. At level 3, we've picked up, by the way, Deep Waters level 2 and 1 point in Arcane Force. So we're going to be putting 2 more in Arcane Force. That is a power multiplier spell. So now, Spark, Fire Nova, and Incinerate will be doing more damage. And I believe this might actually affect Fire Might, which we'll find out in a moment. So what else I expect is to be a Stonecutter here. That's why I've teleported across, and that's why I'm pressuring right away instead of, let's say, going home to buy a better armor at the merchant. That's an option we could have done. It would have been just fine, but a little bit slower. Now, our opponent has finished up the Medusa at roughly the same time as us. But basically, I'm looking to get an infiltrator kill. I don't think I will get it, though. Guardian Nor also looking to take out my infantryman. Almost gets it, actually. So that's a little bit rough. We're splitting up to make him choose between the infantryman, and the base finishes it off. So that's a little bit poor micro by me, but there was not much I could do to avoid it. Unfortunately, missing out on the Spectre as well. But we've been producing additional infantrymen, and behind this, we've upgraded this sector. We got a woodcutter. We're getting another hunting cabin. And we've upgraded this to the frontier outpost. We got 2 more barracks with the money we've got, and now we are able to start pumping infantrymen, and soon going to be adding arbalists as well for some nice ranged damage. But for now it's infantrymen because we want to take down the stonecutter as soon as possible. Our opponent has already recycled it, but they're rebuilding it now. We haven't put on actual pressure earlier, but it was scary enough for them to take it seriously. Now we killed the workers. Remember, even if you garrison the worker, they will still be taking damage over time effects. So like the fire damage over time that we get from the Royal Mage is still active, even though the worker is hiding in the building. Now we've taken this down. We've caused a little bit of wood damage. And immediately I'm thinking, oh no, he's not defending. What could he be doing? Well, he's gotta be going after the big creep in the middle. There is a Wyvern here in the middle, a little dragon, dragonlet that you can kill not that easily, actually. Anyway, they've got a scouting post, so let's see if we can take that down. I don't think I've got enough with only 4 infantrymen here, but there's a lot more coming. We got a total of 9. Unfortunately, the Wyvern was charged up and unleashed its electricity on us there. Doesn't quite have enough damage to take down the scouting post. So we just gotta sit out here, wait for it to start its job, allow our units to regenerate, as out of combat units do regenerate relatively quickly, especially if they're in your own sector like these guys. That's very convenient here for us. Of course, as soon as I go into the other sector, that's less the case. Our opponent has rebuilt the stonecutter, but we're basically choosing to damage this Wyvern a little bit. Produce the share of experience that our opponent gets. Being able to pull it out quite nicely. Unfortunately, it pulls back, but now it should be charged up again, and I just used my spark, which also happens to be an interrupt. So for these charged up abilities, you could technically interrupt their enemy animations and stop them from doing the cast, also losing a bunch of units on the transition. So I'm sending this infantryman back. And we're getting 2 more barracks, so both sides are relatively defended with reinforcements, but it does make the overall reinforcements awkward. We've gotten outside of billets so that we're not population blocked, and we went for tier 2, upgrading the city center. Now we don't have a lot of food because we have to upgrade all these sectors, right? Getting iron going so that we can upgrade the infantrymen to be tankier and to do more damage. That's 2 separate upgrades, so we'll be needing a lot of iron very soon. And we've got not enough food, unfortunately. This isn't an army that I can take on both the Dark Elf army, their fortified outpost, and the Drake Wit, so that's a little bit too much together. So I'm just posturing out here in case they're pushing out. But then I decided to go in and see if I can try my luck. Of course, by now, that hero will have taken care of the dragon, but maybe we can take down some workers. Maybe we can destroy the frontier post while they're busy working on that creep. Destroyed, or rather killed, the workers in the woodcutter, and you could just hear that pickup sound. That's when the hero is done with the creeping and they've picked up the item that was dropped. I'm already pulling back the weak infantryman to make sure that the splash damage of the hero doesn't take me down. And, you know, reducing this base to ashes is good enough to me. He'll have to rebuild. You have to wait for the workers to regenerate. And what have we lost? Like, 3 infantrymen? Totally worth it. Absolutely totally worth it. And now, what is going to be our next move? We are going to completely forget about this because this is going to be a fortified outpost in a moment. So what we can do is go back in here and see if we can do more damage. Maybe we can take down the ensign. If we are tier 2, the Dark Elves are probably tier 2. And that means they'll be spending a lot of wood. They can't afford to keep repairing, to keep rebuilding, to keep spamming their infiltrators. So we're going to be doing as much damage as possible. Also, starting to think about attacking elsewhere because the army is here defending all that. We are at a sector disadvantage, so that's not good. And like I said earlier, we're starting to get some iron, so the forge is here at a really good time. I unassigned some woodworkers. We've got a lot of wood, we don't need any more, so those workers can just go into the forge and help us research the warhammers and the hardened oak shields for our infantrymen. So like I said, attacking elsewhere where the opponent isn't is a pretty good idea at this point. We've got fortified outposts everywhere. So that's +4 workers in every sector now. So pretty much in as good a position as Dark Elf. Because the Dark Elves only have 3 workers per each sector at each upgrade level. So at the moment we are probably even, but if they reach their full upgrade level, which they can do in tier 2, whereas we can't, they'll be ahead again. So we've got a short moment here where we can do damage. And I'm like, yeah, let's go after those iron mines. They cost 18 wood each for the Dark Elves. So destroying those is a huge deal. There's a lot of workers here to kill. And we're getting in a Fire Nova combo with an Incinerate, and several workers go down immediately. And we've done our work. We forced the Dark Elves to teleport back. We're gonna get them to chase us a little bit more. And immediately teleporting out. So right, the Dark Elves sacrificed the unit to cast Weakening on us. That reduces our armor for a moment, but yeah, minus 62 magic resist. That is pretty crazy. But this gives us the opportunity to go after the base. As you can see, this infantryman lost half its health in just 2 shots from the base. Not sure if it can get away 3 hit points with the pullback micro. We got it. Warhammer upgrade just finished, so perfectly in time for us to try to take out this fortified outpost. Also got another hit squad ready to go back. You guys can see I basically control grouped them into 2 groups. And this allows me to just both guard this iron mine area so that the Dark Elves don't go back there. And we're taking down this border fortress if we can. It has taken down some of our units, but that's okay. If you're destroying an outpost that has 4 upgrade levels already, then you can sacrifice a few units, it's okay. Also, important to note, the Fire Spark actually does affect buildings. You can target the building. Actually, that's how I'm taking this one down. So we lost a lot of units. The Dark Elves are chasing after us immediately to try to punish our lack of units, but we're already making catapults. So catapults required us to upgrade the barracks to drill halls and support garrisons. Support garrison can make the catapult, and the drill hall could make keepers, but we're currently not choosing to do that. But because we didn't have food for a while, I just chose to upgrade anyway. It's tankier, safer, and we're still guarding this iron area, so that's pretty good. And also looking to poke in here. The units are still here, so not such a great idea backing off lost an infantryman unnecessarily, but that's okay. We got off a spark and incinerate combo. And here we see the first of the sleepers. Now these are very scary units, way stronger than our infantrymen. It's 100 DPS, or rather damage per attack, and also bleeding, and they can be upgraded to have AoE, so it's really scary to face those. But like I said, catapults are pretty good. We got minus 17 iron right now. I think we are going tier 3 actually, because we got everything upgraded and we can spend our resources. So what do we need? More iron. How do we get that? We get border fortresses. We are still stuck on a lower base count, so that is unacceptable. We've kept him off iron for a while, but we've seen that he started building, so basically here I decided to keep amassing my units, group up with a catapult, and then hit both areas at the same time. Once again, the stonecutter is back, the fortified outpost is up and upgrading to a border fortress, so he's completing all the upgrade levels here. We're hitting both areas at the same time, and the infantrymen will be able to potentially take down either the iron mines there, or will take down the base here. One of them will go, and if the Dark Elves are not in both places ready to defend, they'll be in a lot of trouble. Just being very careful here not to trigger the entire army. And I think I've gotten a little greedy. The catapult is actually targeting the border fortress. The way I've done it is using the bomb target area command. And I think... No, that's a direct targeting maybe. But yeah, you can do that. You can bomb the target area, click directly next to the building, and your unit can shoot without line of sight even. Okay, so there's 3 sleepers here. That's a little bit too much, so we're gonna back off. Yeah, I should have taken down the iron mines, honestly, not this. Tier 3 should be done momentarily. We're queuing up some extra infantrymen. The drill halls will allow us to get champions out immediately after tier 3 is done, which is now. And we can upgrade all of our sectors to border fortresses, get some extra iron mines going, and get those elite units out now. There's a bit of a lull in combat, and I'm basically choosing to send back my royal mage. He could use some better equipment here. He hasn't gotten any items. He's got 5k in gold. Why not get a battle mage armor for him? Meanwhile, we're also checking in the middle if we can get a hit in with our little hit squad. There's a catapult with them, of course. And yeah, the buildings are being upgraded. I'm also starting my farm transitions as the hunt is running out, and we are shopping for the armor, like I said. So having to build the farms a little bit further away while these hunting cabins process the last of the food available on the map. And then they'll be replacing that. We're also starting our Aria distillery so that we'll be able to upgrade our high tier units to better ones. I think we also will get a farm here at some point. There you can see all the bases are upgraded now. And we can once again start threatening this border fortress. We're going to completely surround it. See the teleport there? And we're just going to back off. That's going to immediately make me pounce with this group. See if we can go after the iron mines there. But actually they are over here going after the border fortress area. So I guess that is what we will defend. And I think this is when I went for some crazy play of actually not worrying so much about this fight. Or was that like a few minutes later? We'll have to see. I think it must have been now, because we've got the oak shield upgrade for the infantryman that significantly increased their health. We have a bunch of champions. Yeah, there it is. So what we're doing next is going after this golem over here. The golem is actually something that we can take down because it has relatively low resistance against siege damage. The catapult provides that. And we've got tanking units, the champions, which also have 6 strike damage. We've got upgrade infantrymen that can withstand a little bit of pressure. And we're going after the iron mines. Our opponent is recycling them, so this is fantastic for us. Just once again slowing down the Dark Elf iron production. They're going to try to hit our farms, but there's no way that the Dark Elf army can take down the border fortress at this point in time without any real siege. They've got a handful of sleepers, not a problem. In fact, I think the sleeper is being targeted, and now I'm grouping up, making sure that the catapults and the champions are along with the army. And some more farms need to be built there, clearly. We're getting wildfire boulders. And there it is. The Inferno Golem sets everything on fire that's nearby. Not just with that ability that you've seen, but also by proximity. So if you stand next to him, he'll actually cause trouble. I am being careful because I saw a huge Dark Elf army there with beetles, and those can cause a lot of trouble. But the Dark Elves are not going to be able to take the sun, not with the human army on top of them. So what I'll do here is just use my Spark to interrupt this big spell and pull back my archers. Try to do my best. The cooldown on Spark is really good, so we'll be able to take this down slowly. I am also standing next to the golem to give him minus 11 resistances with my fire stacks, and we got the item. Wasn't that difficult at all when you've got such a big army, and the Royal Mage, you basically aren't gonna take any fire from it. We got a lot of deep waters now, so a lot of mana available. We got Starfall, which is our ultimate spell. Put some meteors from the sky, and we got Absorb the Elements, which can absorb your Fire Might stacks. If you got free, it absorbs 3 times 16%. So that's a pretty high value right there. And there it is. Suddenly, the Starfall can do 841 damage. And that's just the siege type. There's also the magic type for the creatures, which are the non-buildings. Now, we've taken down the Dark Temple here and several other buildings. Dark Temple costs 30 wood, which is very, very high. We can collect, I believe, almost half of that after this. And upgrading the Royal Flag will mean that our workers will pop out of this, pick up all the resources, so we're gonna be massively fine after this. And what am I thinking here? My opponent is gonna be going for the golem as well, right? For a moment I thought, let's go here, but then I'm like, no, we gotta make sure that they don't get that golem, because if they do, this is a Godstone sector, so it's fairly easy to go there. Godstones allow you to teleport between each other, basically. And here goes the first big fight. I was waiting until my champion upgrade finished as well, which is gonna give them the ability to target 3 units at a time rather than just 2. And we got a massive landing off with our hero. We got Absorbed Fire. The Starfall did massive damage, instantly killing the infiltrators. Our opponent does have Striders, which are scary, but the champions are a little bit better. Only thing is, the champions are also a little bit harder to afford. At least for a while, we're getting quite a bit of extra damage in with our Incinerate and Spark combos, so whittling down the health of that Guardian of North is always great. Forcing him to use potions, we're gonna just chase this because we won the battle, and we've got a lot left over, so why not? Maybe we'll even get another Starfall in, let's see. It's a lot of units here, and there's a border fortress, and the Guardian of North is no joke, so they'll probably be holding this, but we'll get great value out of it. We'll kill all of these workers with the Arcane Scorching. They'll just be finished off by that. And okay, we've lost a handful of units, so definitely an overextension. We've given the Dark Elves some Echo that they could pick up. Now they'll be able to make some high tier units, but I think we still had a really good trade overall. And I was able to level up again and unlock the Hailstorm level 2, which is what you're seeing right now. This is drastically slowing them down, minus 60% speed after Absorb the Elements. And we've cast a Starfall there. That one's gonna miss, unfortunately. Also, we've got Ice Might, which is what you... Oh no, we don't have Ice Might yet. So it's just from the fire absorption that we can shoot free projectiles from our basic attacks with the Royal Mage. We've got a bunch of units running through this border fortress, so I can't stand for that anymore. Let's take down the border fortress. This is also been upgrading, and we've got 2 iron mines here, an Aria distillery now, and we can get some extra food, which we desperately need. This has been upgrading, so we've got additional drill halls that will allow us to produce even more champions. Preemptively putting down the Hailstorm. but I put it in the wrong place. Dark Ops end up coming from here, so what I'm doing is putting down the Starfall right there, right after the Absorb the Elements, so it does massive damage, taking out 2 beetles right away, almost destroying 2 of the buildings. And I just need to turn my catapult around to finish off that base, and we're out. Peace. They're not gonna chase, but we need to remake this army. It's starting to look a little bit sad. There's a lot of catapults, and we've got another border fortress coming in. More farms being made, so that will allow us to keep producing very nicely. We're turning this into a border fortress. That's the last building we need to make for the longest time. So now we can spend everything on units. We started training flag bearers because we've had a bunch of aria that I mentioned earlier. So the flag bearers are allowing you to boost your army, both for attack and defense, depending on which mode they are in. So you want a healthy mix of the two, and also an upgrade ideally on them, which I think we've done. Yeah, we did it. It's in the forge. We're upgrading the arbalist as well, so that they can get some more range and damage. And they've got armor, they've got empowered. That's coming from the flag bearers. Now this is really effective on the champions actually, who have already really high armor and attack, so they benefit the most really. And once again, we've got a pretty good start here with the Starfall in the middle of the enemy army. Oh, that's gonna do some work. Ooh. Hitting 2 of the twisted ones. Those are some high cost units that could have drained the focus of my royal mage. And this is also a really good area to lock down. We've got the fire boulders from the catapult, which sets the ground on fire. So that's gonna be AoE denial. The hailstorm is AoE denial. So what am I doing? I'm going directly for that juicy golem. But unfortunately, I wasn't looking here for a second. Must have been looking back at my base, and they take down quite a few of my catapults. That is painful. I think I just eat it and I move on. Gotta do what you gotta do. We can lock down this bridge, and we are currently at level 7 still, so really need that golem to unlock the Ice Might, which is what I'm after. So same strategy as before. We'll just be standing close by next to the golem. We're doing some slowing on him so that he can't kite away. Unfortunately, we eat special ability as I messed up with the spark here. That's why I'm pulling back. Got Absorb the Elements on and putting down the Starfall over there, just so that the Dark Elf army doesn't come in, but they do anyway. Just poorly placed by me. Anyway, we got the medal, and we can pretty much get out of here. Just moved away with the hero so that we can do that easily enough. We haven't lost that much, so it's kind of okay. That could have been better though. Now let's see what items we got. We had the Noria's command actually earlier from the other golem. We have 14,000 gold, so at some point we'll be able to go back to the shop. But this is plus 25% damage. And remember, we already have 4 points in Arcane Force. That is also 40% extra damage. And the Absorb the Elements is a ton of extra damage. Now the Power Multiplier works on this as well. So if you've got your free stacks of Fire Might, this is a monster ability. Now we're gonna keep using our Hailstorms basically on cooldown to maximize the ice stacks that we can get, as we now have Ice Might, which will be providing us with basically attack speed. So our Royal Mage has been turned into an absolute chat. We got the slowing on the enemies. They can't really run away. And the Starfall is triggered in the middle of the army. I don't think our opponent has seen it. And the huge landing takes down 2 of the beetles. We got our basic attacks doing triple projectiles, and we took down the hero with a spark. Middle is now ours. We can take this over. There's 2 iron mines that will be destroyed eventually, and we'll be harvesting the wood from that as well. We are 168 population, and soon we can start thinking about actually going for a Titan. Now that we've got the middle under our control, finally, this is something that we can consider. That's where you make the Titan. It costs quite a bit of resources, so we'll have to play for the longer game a little bit. For example, taking over this sector is pretty good, because then we can get Aria. You need 75 Aria for the Titan. And the Titan doesn't cost any population, so it's just an addition to your existing army. Even if you're maxed out, you can get a Titan. It's so good. Alright, now pretty common strategy from here on out will be just putting down the hailstorm and you know, trying to get as much damage done as possible while the enemy units can't come in very easily. We even put down Starfall here to finish off those two Striders. Very nice hit. That is minus 16 iron right there. Iron is really valuable, guys. Like, there is not a lot of iron around the maps in SpellForce 3, so you'll be playing in this late game stage for a little bit, but eventually it ends. So, you know, Dark Elves not having access to Striders is pretty important. Unfortunately for humans, Dark Elves will have access to Echo forever. So at some point, you'll be in trouble. Well, now this doesn't belong to them, it doesn't belong to us. Nobody really wants to push, but I've got a lot of extra units out here, and we're starting to make Mentalists so as to spend a little bit of Aria, because we don't have enough iron. So we want to be spending a little bit of both iron and Aria in order to get enough resources to afford a Titan. I could also technically be selling a little bit of my resources to speed up my access to the Titan, and I think I did make a market here, but I just didn't have the bank to really do that. I am getting close though at this point to start thinking about that, but the battle is so close, I don't want to risk it. Might have to remake all my champions rather than getting a Titan. It's way more important to have a standing army, especially when you have access to such Chad units, the Chad peons, as we've figured out in one of the previous videos. That's what they're called. Thanks to Fallen for commenting on that, by the way. Shout out. What else do we got here? I think we're just gonna keep doing the combo of Hailstorm, Absorb the Elements, and Starfall. Actually, that should be Absorb the Elements, Hailstorm, and Starfall, because that would boost the Hailstorm. Look at this, minus 96% movement speed, and they just eat the Starfall like that. They can't go anywhere. You'd have to teleport out or something. Now, they got my hero there with some very nice focus fire, but guess what? I got my entire army left. We can do this all day. Taking down the border fortress, no problem. And our Arbiter is having focusing the enemy hero down, and that is gonna be the end. This is how I like to play humans. Harass multiple places at the same time. Upgrade my bases, go to tier 3, get those Chad peons out after some catapult play to do some economic damage and taking down some buildings. Then we mix in the flag bearers, we upgrade everything. We stop making infantrymen, we get some arbalists as the backline, and did I mention mentalists? Mentalists too. Like, these guys are so nice. If you upgrade them, you can get them to slow enemies. Super good. Humans have just such a solid late game, and as you can see right now, we have almost enough resources to get that Titan out. Just a little bit off. So if we start selling a little bit of stone at the market, we could have gotten the Titan here at the end. Unfortunately, no superhero landing for you guys this time, but I hope you still enjoyed this self-cast, self-analysis, playstyle guide video, whatever it is. Make sure to leave a like on your way out and subscribe, and I'll be back with more.